Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanis, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And now we see them. And today we got a crazy show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, we're trying to hit 200,000 subs this month, so I'd really appreciate it if you sub to the channel and help us out to hit that goal. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. Yesterday was a crazy day in sports media, an absolutely crazy day on networks like FS1 and ESPN, specifically shows like ESPN First Take. Yesterday, these big networks are reacting to the news of the Lakers deciding to fire Darvin Ham. I believe the news came out late Friday. Right, I think it was late Friday or Saturday, one of those days. I believe it was Friday, late Friday. So Monday was the day for these guys to really get into this news and react to it. And when I tuned in yesterday to ESPN First Take, I actually saw a clip, a 17 to 18 minute clip that they posted on YouTube. And on the panel, it featured Stephen A. Smith, Kendrick Perkins, and Shannon Sharpe. Now, as you guys know, Shannon Sharpe customarily goes on ESPN First Take 2 times a week, Mondays and Tuesdays. So as they were there talking, they were talking about, LeBron and the Lakers and what happened. And it was a lot of hot takes. Kendrick Perkins at one point said he thinks LeBron James should retire. And then it got to the part after I think Kendrick spoke and I think Stephen A. Smith spoke second or third, one of those in one of those orders. And anyway, when it came time for Stephen A. Smith to speak, he was talking about LeBron, and he went back to something that he used to say years ago, which was LeBron has this fetish of trying to control the narrative. Before, I didn't know what he meant years ago, like in 2010, 2011. I didn't know what he meant. Now I do. So yesterday, he revisited that, and he was talking about LeBron's, insatiable appetite to control the narrative. But then he went a step further, and he said something I did not know, and I was totally unaware of, which was he said that LeBron secretly confronts certain people who have opposing views or who don't say nice things, or basically tries to coax them into saying nice things about them. And I'm like, wait, what? What is this about right now? Because I never heard this before. So what we want to do is want to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say over at live ESPN airwaves, and then we're going to come back and react to what he had to say. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here on ESPN First Take yesterday.
We're going to make sure that LeBron James' camp doesn't get to pull off what they will try to pull off. Because you see, the narrative is already, we're blaming LeBron James for the firing of coaches. That's not what this discussion is. What this discussion is us debating that another firing that has occurred under his watch, whether or not that compromises quote-unquote GOAT status in the eyes of a Shannon Sharpe or Kendrick Perkins or Stephen A. Smith and others. That is what the debate is. See, they'll leave. And what they'll say is, oh, LeBron James is getting blamed for the firing. We're not saying that. What we're saying is that you're not as innocent and you're not some just mere spectator in this whole scenario the way you try to pretend to be. That is what we're saying. We're not going to let LeBron James and his camp get away with that. We're not blaming him for the firing. What we're saying is you can't be as great as you proclaim to be, as we know you are, in today's NBA game, and be completely innocent and oblivious and distant, having nothing to do with the firing of yet another coach. That is impossible. That's all we're saying. But having said all of that, while acknowledging that that's a reality that he has to live with, there's a bigger narrative to touch on. And that is the fact that LeBron James has brought these debates on himself, Shannon, because of this insatiable appetite he has to control narratives. It's what he does. Nobody, I repeat, nobody, no star in the history of sports has gone about the business of methodically, systematically, continuously trying to control the narrative. And I have proof. That podcast that him and JJ Redick have, let me be the first to say, it's a great podcast. You want to learn some basketball, you listen to them brothers. I ain't throwing no shade on them. I love JJ and the job he's doing. I appreciate LeBron, his greatness, and his cerebral approach, educating us about the game of basketball. But why would you choose to do that in your 21st season approaching age 40? Because you know why? You want to make sure that you're the guy that gets to put your fingerprints on narratives, because you have proven throughout the years that you care about that. Well, we're here to say, yo, you got your approach, we got ours. You got your penchant for control of the narrative, we got ours. And oh, by the way, you're talking about you. So therefore, you ain't going to be but so objective. We, on the other hand, are going to be very objective. Shannon, you and I disagree, but we don't fail to acknowledge the greatness of LeBron James and how he's on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. Kendrick Perkins, you are a friend. You've known this man for decades, which is why you repeatedly will tell people to kiss your ass when they come to you trying to tell you how you supposed to be talking to and about LeBron James. Who the hell are they? Because you know them. You see what I'm saying? But you've had to do it. Why did you have to do it, Kendrick Perkins? Because that man allowed people to approach you to try to infiltrate a narrative he may have disagreed with that you, me, Shannon, or somebody else has put forth. This is what he does. This is what he has done. And there is no escaping that.
You heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. When he said that, I was floored. I was actually floored, and I'll tell you why. There's been this kind of running joke in the NBA community, especially among fans, that certain voices in sports media are bought and paid for by Clutch Sports. And whenever you see somebody, to use the word, glazing super hard, people begin to speculate like, yo, they must have got to him. They must have got to him, right? And it seems to be like a running joke, but then it's not a joke, because there's some truth to this. And I believe that there are a few people out there that you can attribute this to. I remember a number of years ago on Undisputed, when Shannon Sharp used to be there, and this was when Joy Taylor used to be the moderator, and it was her, Skip Bayless, Steven Jackson, Shannon Sharp. And Joy Taylor said something. She said the quiet part out loud. She said, I know why all of a sudden Shannon became a LeBron guy. And Skip was like, what was going on here? He was like, I heard they got to him. And Steven Jackson was like, yeah, I heard that too. So the question is, who? Who is the they? Who is the they? Because if you listen to a person like Shannon Sharp, in 2011, he was saying the only people that are ahead of Michael Jordan and Kobe were God when it comes to basketball. Fast forward years later, now all of a sudden Jordan ain't the GOAT. Now all of a sudden Kobe went from 2 to 9. And you're like, bro, what happened? What's going on here, right? But I believe this is true. Of course, Nick Wright, he's represented by Clutch Sports. And you have so many other guys out there. And it makes total sense. The problem I have with what Stephen A. Smith said is, for whatever reason, LeBron feels he can't win on the merit. He can't do it based off of merit. What do I mean by that? Meaning, you can't convince people that you're the GOAT with your play, your accolades, and all of those things. So since you know you can't do that, you now have to take the sneaky route, which is to get the people to then go on TV to promote you. And I need to burst the bubble for people out here. The vast majority of what people feel about who's the greatest player in this, a lot of it has to do with the people talking about these people on television. If you notice now, the new player that's being promoted is Anthony Edwards. They keep saying Jordan, reminds you of Jordan, reminds you of Kobe, reminds you of Jordan. They say it enough. Next thing you know, you're going to be asking, well, does he remind me of Jordan? Well, does he remind me of Kobe? Does he really? I don't know. That's what's going to happen next. But this is damning. This is damning. But Stephen A. Smith has always subtly referred to this. He said he will go out here and say something, and then Rich Paul approached him. Why'd you say that? Why'd you say that? It's like, well, whoa, wait a minute. Are people not allowed to have their views unless it concurs or aligns with the views you want them to have? Are they not allowed to have their views? And it goes to show you. That's why I said the entire Jordan versus LeBron debate, and I got LeBron in my top 5, I think is made up of a bunch of smoke and mirrors. It's a magic show. It is a magic show. I don't believe is based more in reality. I think it's based off of people on television that are bought and paid for to go out there and twerk it up all over the place, knock over people's drinks, run up and down the hallway hollering and screaming while slapping each other with honey, talking about go James, go James, go James. Yeah, that's him. That's what I believe. I don't believe it's based on anything that is tied to reality. This is my personal view. And the reason I say that is because all of their arguments, for the most part, are nonsensical ass backwards. But to hear Stephen A. Smith say that, and trust me, they're going to try to get, why'd you say that? Why'd you, like, yo, bro, let the truth speak up. Let it speak. For Stephen A. Smith to say this, why do I give his words credibility? Because he knows all these people. They've been on his shows. He knows all of them. But I was shocked. I didn't know LeBron took it that far. Him and his camp took it that far where they meet people. Why didn't you have this view? Why don't you have that view? It's like, why isn't your play enough? Why isn't it enough? I remember the time Shannon Sharp called out LeBron for his Miami Heat comments at the Miami Heat didn't do anything. And then Gilbert Arenas, person I'm friendly with, got mad at Shannon. Why are you saying stuff about? He's like, he's not allowed to say, he only supposed to say positive things? Is that the rule? Man, nah. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.